Hello, class. Today I'm going to try to demonstrate how P and S waves can be used to estimate or calculate how far away an earthquake happened. So, to review, earthquakes happen. When that earthquake happens, energy is released and goes racing off from the focus of the earthquake, from the center of the earthquake. That energy goes releasing in a giant, like in three directions, in three dimensions. It's a giant expanding bubble. And that energy transmits four different types of waves: body waves and surface waves. We're going to focus on the body waves. There are two types of body waves. What types are they? That's right, class, P waves. And the other type is good, S waves. So P waves are the fastest. They move fast. They're also not that powerful. S waves are slower but mighty. So here's how this is we can use those two facts, the facts that P waves are fast and S waves are slow, to figure out how far away an earthquake was when it happened. So I'm going to draw two little houses here. Whoops. Hold on, I'm going to draw them in ink that you can see. So little pink houses, as John Cougar Mellencamp would say. There's one. You'll notice the roof is already shaken off of that house. That house must have been in an earthquake sometime in the past. And another house over here. This house looks bigger because it's closer to you. Okay, there we are, two little houses. And those two little houses are going to be struck by an earthquake, which is going to occur, let's say, right about here. So this earthquake happens here, and when that earthquake happens, these houses are not like in the same city. They're in very different locations, far, far, far apart. So states distance, hundreds of miles. So earthquake happens there, and when that earthquake happens, we have an expanding P wave and S wave go racing off. So at the same instant, P waves and S waves go racing off together, but P waves are faster. So the longer they travel, the farther they get apart. So initially, the P waves, I'm going to make them this color, are traveling out in a big circle. Oh my goodness. I'm doing this. There we go. Traveling off in a big circle around the center of the earthquake, around the focus of the earthquake. That's the P wave. And the S wave is cooking along behind it, but it just can't travel as fast. So the S wave is, I'm finding it very difficult to even see my mouse. There it is. So the S wave maybe at that instant is way back here. Okay, so when the people in this house detect the P wave, there's a lag, and then they feel the S wave. That lag is fairly short. As those two go racing off, if you're close to the earthquake, the time lag between the P and the S wave is relatively short. So you can use that time lag to calculate how far away you were from the earthquake. So those people in that house could say, we must have been about, I don't know, 20 miles from the earthquake. They don't know where the earthquake happened. All they know is that there was an earthquake and it happened someplace like here. Someplace 20 miles from that house. They can't tell where for sure, but somewhere 20 miles from that house. If you want to email me and mock me for my circle drawing, you're welcome to do that. I've got not much to do except field your emails about my poor art skills. Happy to field them. Okay, so the people in that house, they can figure out that P and S waves came fairly close together, so they're probably not very far away from the earthquake, so that earthquake must have happened about somewhere on that circle. They don't know where. They just know they're 20 miles from the earthquake. Other people in another house also feel the earthquake. They feel the P waves arrive first. I think these were the P waves. So the P waves, now by the time they've gotten out this big around from the center of the earthquake, that's a much, much, much bigger circle. And the S waves then are significantly far behind it because they travel so much slower. So maybe they're making a circle something like this. So these are circles centered on this X. The P waves go racing off in a giant sphere or bubble around, centered on that X. And then the S waves at the same time go racing off, but slower. Here, the time lag to get to this house between the P wave and the S wave is going to be pretty significant. Pretty significant. So they can tell that much bigger amount of time has elapsed in order for them to feel the earthquake. They know that they must be a greater distance from the earthquake. So they know that perhaps here, there's my mouse, there it is, you know that they're on some circle like this. They must be 500 miles from the earthquake. And maybe they can say, well, it happened somewhere on that circle. And that circle would go on around, completely surround the house. It could have happened on the west side or the left side, the north side, the south side. They don't know where. And the people in this house know that they're on some kind of, that the earthquake must have happened somewhere on this circle too. So they can draw their own circle around this. And it takes more than one location to pinpoint where an earthquake happened. Let me draw this a little bit better. Just one detector alone, this house here by itself, can't tell exactly where the earthquake happened. This house here can't tell exactly where the earthquake happened. But if you connect the dots from all of them, you could figure out where. So I'm going to show you some example here. Let's pretend that I could draw a perfect circle, and this is what it looked like. There we are. This is what it looked like. Okay. And that circle, this is a different earthquake, different detectors. And if we had two detectors, they might be able to say, well, this one knows that an earthquake happened somewhere in this circle. This detector knows that an earthquake happened somewhere in this circle. If you add the two together, they could have either happened at this spot or that spot, one or the other. You need a third detector to really pinpoint it and say, it happened precisely at this location. So it takes 3 seismographs to be able to precisely pinpoint where an earthquake happened. Fortunately, seismographs are cheap and abundant, and so they're not hard to come by. It's relatively easy to pinpoint not just like where an earthquake happened on the surface of the earth, but even precisely how deep. You saw that yesterday's reading, that you could predict, or you could locate precisely how deep an earthquake was when it occurred. Okay, I hope that clarifies something. I fear that it may not have, but if you have questions, please ask them. Go be awesome.